Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Garbage to Gold podcast. I'm your host, Joe Davis. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel and keep watching. Share this podcast with your friends. Share my videos on your social media. Follow me on social media, all that good stuff. I got a lot of things that I want to talk to you guys about today. NAR has been in a lawsuit. There's been an NAR lawsuit going on for, I don't know, over a year now, it seems like. Basically, if you're not familiar with this, what it is, it's basically changing the way people pay commission whenever they sell their home. So I think it was at the end of 2022, beginning of 2023. Obviously, we all know when COVID come around in 2020, real estate prices went crazy, interest rates dropped, people started to buy property because it was real cheap to buy a home. And anytime you get that massive amount of demand met with a short supply, obviously basic economics, prices go up. All right. So I'm a real estate professional. I am a licensed real estate agent, broker in the state of Missouri. Now, I hate being a real estate agent. I hate being a real estate broker. It was fun while it lasted. I got in 2016 before the crazy COVID pricing. Before the market really took off. And it was already crazy before that. People couldn't believe the prices, back then. They couldn't believe they couldn't believe the interest rates. They couldn't believe, the prices that people were paying for houses back then. And I mean, I wish I could go back to 2016 and buy a house. I'd buy 150 of them. But anyway, so when I first got in, and most of my career up until basically today, what happens is when you sell your house, typically you would hire a real estate agent. Now, you don't have to hire an agent to sell your home. This is kind of a major misconception. A lot of people think that you have to use an agent to sell your home and that you have to pay them commission. Not entirely true. And we'll get into that here in just a minute. So, typically in a real estate transaction, if you're just a typical home seller, you're not an investor, nothing like that. You're just a regular old guy or woman. And you want to sell your house. Typically you would hire a real estate agent and, they come and they put it on the market for you. So basically what that is they put the property on the MLS, which then goes on Zillow. And then there's some other little places that they can put it to kind of draw in some more buyers, like Craigslist and Realtor.com, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, shit like that. But the majority of the homes that are bought in this country from the beginning of time have been bought, off of the MLS. And nowadays, I would say that most of the properties that people buy, most of the homes anyway that people are buying are coming from Zillow. People get on Zillow or Realtor.com. I would say Zillow. I think that's the number one. Everybody knows Zillow. You get on Zillow, you see a house, and you call them up, and typically that will put you in contact with an agent in your area. And most likely, and this is important, most likely if you call through Zillow, you're going to get a buyer's agent. You're not going to get the listing agent. Okay, because that's how Zillow has their shit set up. If you call on a property and you say contact agent, something along those lines, you're gonna get just a random buyer's agent. Now, no big deal up until today, or up until this lawsuit comes out. So, about a year ago, some people in Missouri filed a lawsuit, an antitrust lawsuit, and basically saying that they shouldn't have paid the amount of commission that they signed up for and paid for, okay? So typically, when you sell a home, you're going to pay 6% commission. Now, that 6% of your purchase price, whatever your home sells for, you're automatically losing 6% directly to whatever agents were involved in the sale. So you list your property, Okay. You don't just pay the listing agent or the listing company. You pay them, and then they take the rest of that 6%. They take their half, whatever that is, whatever they get, whatever's in their contracts. They take a portion, which is typically a little over 3%, and then the rest of it goes to a buyer's agent. Okay. If there was a buyer agent, which typically on like 90% of the sales in the United States, they have a listing agent and a buyer agent. Okay. Dual agency is when one agent or one company handles the buyer and seller side of a real estate transaction. And then they typically will give the seller a little bit of a discount on commissions since it all stays in-house and there wasn't another company involved. But anytime you have two companies involved selling a house, they're going to, charge you 6% so that they can compensate all the people involved. Because if you have two companies, typically you're going to have, the listing agent, their broker, and then the buyer's agent and their brokers. That's 4 people, and they're all wanting their cut. So this lawsuit comes out and, ever since I've been an agent, it was very commonplace to tell your sellers that, hey, we charge 6% because of, that covers our expenses, our marketing, what yada, yada, yada. And it helps compensate, the buyers, agents, and, because that's probably who we're going to work with to get this home sold. And you want to make sure that, we're marketing to everybody. Because if you're not going to, offer a commission to the buyers, that in theory is going to deter people from wanting to buy your house. Now, that's not in any way, shape, or form true. It might for some people, but there's people who sell their house without using agents, period, and it happens all the time. It's not hard to do. You can list your house on Zillow today and sell it tomorrow. Like if you're in it if it's for the right price, if you price it accurately, somebody gonna buy it. So this whole commission thing is kind of ridiculous. To tell people or to make people feel like they have a less chance of selling their house by not offering that extra 2-3% to a buyer's agent. It's just not realistic. Now, it does suck, if you're an agent, because most agents are, that's where they make their money is working with buyers. I fucking hate working with buyers. Always hated working with buyers. I honestly didn't like any part of being an agent. And, I don't want to go on a big tangent or anything, but dude, I paid my NAR dues this year, but it's the last year I'm doing it. I'm not doing it again. I think NAR is kind of bullshit. That's just my personal opinion. I just don't see any reason to pay these people what we pay them, and get what we get for that. I think NAR is just kind of like a monopoly on the real estate industry. I kind of thought that NAR would protect us from some of these tech companies like Zillow, kind of creeping in on our business and kind of trying to put us out of business, which is exactly what Zillow is trying to do and will eventually do completely. There's a lot, and it's not just Zillow. There's a lot of big tech companies entering the real estate space, and agents are under direct attack. Their whole way of making a living is, in jeopardy by these large companies moving in and doing what they're doing. It's just a fact. And this lawsuit is not going to do anyone any favors. This is pretty much the end of the buyer agent. If you're a real estate agent right now, you need to get really damn good at listing property or you're not going to have a job. Because guess what? Ain't nobody paying buyer commissions no more. And you can't, you're not going to be able to go in and, rely on, a listing agent encouraging their sellers to pay this extra added cost. Now, the idea, and I've heard some people say that they think that this is going to bring home prices down and make it more affordable to sell a house or make it more affordable for buyers to buy a house. I don't think so. I think it has potential to do that, but will it actually? Probably not. Okay? Probably not. Because I mean, if you're an agent and somebody contacts you and wants to buy a house, you basically have to explain to them that they have to pay you out of pocket, because that seller's not gonna cover that cost anymore. And in reality, they never had to. They were just, it was kind of like pitched to you as a seller by your agent that it was a good idea to just go ahead and pay that added cost, because it was going to make it more likely for you to sell your house. But in reality, there was never anything stating that by law they had to pay that. But now cat's out of the bag. No one's going to pay that added cost anymore. I wouldn't. But so yeah, I mean, if you're a buyer agent, it's you need to start learning really, really good how to list houses or how to invest. That's what I do now. I said, fuck all this, buyer seller bullshit, listing houses, bending over backwards for people just to get fucked over. Anybody that's been an agent for any amount of time knows exactly what I'm talking about. I just got fed up, and luckily for me, I started investing and was making good money doing that. And it just became less appealing for me to want to, take calls from people that just wanted to go look at houses on a Saturday or on a Tuesday afternoon. Like, I got other shit I want to do. I don't want to drive, 10, 15 minutes out of my way, let you into a house and, for you to go, oh, okay, cool. Well, we'll let you know if we decide to, write a contract or anything. And then you never hear from them people again. And it's like, all right, cool. I just paid Zillow X amount of dollars to get that lead. And, it's fucking ridiculous. I got tired of it. Putting in all that time and effort, it just wasn't worth it for me anymore. And investing was a 10 times better return on the money and effort and energy. A lot of people don't even think about it like that. They think about it only from like a financial standpoint. Like, investing in real estate is so much better because of the time and energy. Like, if you're going to put your time and energy towards something, weigh it out. Like, putting your time and energy toward building a rental portfolio that will pay you residually for the rest of your life, or putting all your time and energy towards these people who, don't give a fuck, and dealing with the general public who is, essentially brainless. And, these people shit on you. And one little thing that you do that they don't like, they can badmouth you and, potentially try to hurt your career. And it was just like, you're always under the gun, always at risk of, somebody just getting pissed off at you for no reason and, going around and badmouthing you to all your peers and saying that, basically putting your career and your ability to make money for your family at risk, just to make themselves feel better, just because they didn't get what they wanted, just because they didn't understand, what was really going on. You're trying to explain contracts to people that don't deal with contracts. They don't know anything about them. Contracts are serious, obviously, but like some people just like, they freak the fuck out. Like, they just can't handle it. Like, they look at it like it's a life or death. And, it's not that severe. But anyway, yeah. So I'm going to pull up, an article right quick. Let's see what they're saying. So, I'm just going to type in NAR. So go a little bit more in depth on this, on the settlement and on the lawsuit. So here's kind of, what they're saying. The 6% commission on buying or selling a home is gone. That was according to CNN. NAR agrees to change commission structure to settle lawsuit. Washington Post. Real estate stocks drop as NAR agrees to $418 million settlement. That was Business Insider. National Association of Realtors agrees to slash commissions to settle the lawsuit, according to New York Times. Buying a home, realtor commissions could shrink after legal settlement. USA Today. National Association of Realtors to cut commissions to settle lawsuit. CBS News. All right, so we're just going to pull up the most recent one. This is the National Association of Realtors right here. Why did NAR enter into this settlement? Actually, you know what? I'm going to pull up the New York Times article. This is 4 hours ago. Let's see what they say. Just going to read it verbatim, because I'm not super familiar. Like, I'm not an attorney. I'm not a legal professional. And I'm also not a fucking journalist. I'm just a guy who sells real estate, invests in real estate, and has a podcast. And I'm not a genius. So I'm just going to sit here and kind of give you guys the gist of what's going on here. All right, American homeowners could see a significant drop in the cost of selling their homes. I don't know about all that. After a real estate trade group agreed to a landmark deal that will eliminate a bedrock of the industry, the standard 6% sales commission. I could see that, that probably going away. I would almost guarantee that a lot of agents are going to still push for 6% just because they're fucking greedy. And hey, why not? If the seller's dumb enough to pay you 6% to sell their house, hey, that's an extra 3% in your pocket. You ain't paying the fucking buyer's agent. But, most good people will probably, adjust that 6% to a good 2 or 3%, that's fair. The National Association of Realtors, a powerful organization, a monopoly, and that is exactly what they are, that has set the guidelines for home sales for decades, has agreed to settle a series of lawsuits by paying $418 million in damages and by eliminating its rule on commissions. The legal counsel for NAR approved this agreement early Friday morning. The New York Times obtained a copy of the signed document. The deal, with which lawyers anticipate will be filed within weeks and still needs a federal court's approval, which it will get. Let's see the full article. Would end a multitude of legal claims from home sellers who argue that the rules forced them to pay excessive fees. They weren't exactly forced, but they definitely, like I said earlier in the video, you're not legal. There's nothing in the law that states you have to pay a buyer's commission. But agents are kind of like, I don't really want to say twisting your arm, but they are, they spin it to you. They present it to you like, hey, your house isn't going to sell if you don't pay this. And it's just not true. The deal, which in a statement released on Friday morning, Nakia Wright, the interim chief executive of NAR, said, "It has always been our goal to preserve consumer choice and protect our members to the greatest extent possible. This settlement achieves both of those goals." Anyway, yeah, you guys make of that what you want. I don't think they just eliminated half of their members. I mean, what's a buyer agent going to do now? You got to learn how to list, So, good luck. This will blow up. Housing experts said the deal and the expected savings for homeowners could trigger one of the most significant jolts in the U.S. housing market in 100 years. This will blow up the market and would force a new business model, said Norm Miller, a professional emeritus of real estate at the University of San Diego. Americans pay roughly $100 billion in real estate commissions annually, and real estate agents in the United States have some of the highest standard commissions in the world. In many other countries, commission rates hover between 1% and 3%. In the United States, most agents specify a commission of 5 or 6% paid by the seller. If the buyer has an agent, the seller's agent agrees to share a portion of the commission with that agent when listing the home on the market. An American homeowner currently looking to sell a $1 million home should expect to spend up to $60,000 on real estate commissions alone, with 30% going to the listing agent and 30% or $30,000 going to the agent who brings the buyer. Yeah, it's pretty close to that. 6%. So yeah. Let's see. The lawsuits argued that NAR and brokerages who required their agents to be members of NAR had violated antitrust laws by mandating that the seller's agent make an offer of payment to the buyer's agent and setting rules that led to an industry-wide standard commission. Without that rate essentially guaranteed, agents will now most likely have to lower their commissions as they compete for business. Economists estimate that commission could now be reduced by 30%, driving down home prices across the board. The opening of a free market for realtor compensation could mirror the shakeup that occurred in the travel industry when the emergence of online broker sites such as Expedia and Kayak. The forces of competition will be let loose, said Benjamin Brown, co-chairman of the antitrust practice at Cohen Milstein and one of the lawyers who hammered out the settlement. You'll see some new pricing models and some new and creative ways to provide services to home buyers. It'll be really exciting time for the industry. Yeah, I don't know about all that bullshit. Make of it what you will. But here's the thing. Yeah. I think you're going to see home prices stay the same. I don't think that it's going to make buying a house any cheaper, honestly. It's probably going to help selling a house because, the seller's not going to have to pay a buyer's agent. Okay, no one's going to do that. So, but if you're a buyer and now you have to work directly with a listing agent, that can be, problematic because the listing agent has a fiduciary, like their main responsibility is to the homeowner, not to you. So you're just the buyer coming in and you're trying to get the best deal you possibly can. The listing agent's going to be less likely. It's just a tough position for the listing agent to be in because now they have to represent both of you. And that means that both parties are now going to get a less representation. Because you have to be there for both parties, and you can't be there the same way for both parties. So it actually takes away from both parties from a representation standpoint. I've done dual agency a couple of times in my life. Never had a problem. Seller was happy. They got what they wanted. Buyer got what they wanted. But you got to think about it, now that the buyers... With this new lawsuit, things are going to definitely be different because there will be no buyer agent anymore. So you're going to have to sell, or buyers are going to have to go and deal directly with the seller and their agent. And so it'll be interesting. Hopefully it will bring prices down. I just don't see it. And I don't think it's, I could see it also not really lowering the price to sell a home either. I could still see a lot of agents demanding 6% just because it's like, hey, cool. You've been paying 6% forever. And now the listing agent's going to, keep more of that money. All right. So over the weekend, last weekend, today is Friday, the 15th, March 15th. So last weekend, something insane happened, out in Nashville, Tennessee, if you haven't heard this story. So last Friday night, March 8th, a kid, a Mizzou student, I believe. Missouri, it's what it says. Mizzou student, what was his name? Something Riley. Riley Strain. Okay, so yeah, last Friday evening, March 8th, Riley Strain goes missing. From a Nashville bar that was allegedly owned by Luke Bryan, I believe. And this is a really, really strange story for a lot of different reasons. It was reported that the kid was, asked to leave the bar, essentially kicked out. I've seen the videos that are, on the news of like surveillance footage of this kid as he's leaving. I mean, he's obviously fucking hammered, like just annihilated. And I've been there. I have been thrown out of a bunch of bars in my life. And, I live around St. Louis. Like I've been kicked out of a bunch of bars in my life. And like, yeah, they just throw you out on the street and it's like, hey, whatever happens to you happens to you. This is really, really strange because it was reported that somebody, and this is where they lose me. They're saying the friends, I guess, said that the bar would not let them leave with the kid, and I find that hard to believe. What bar throws somebody out, and you're all standing like, "Hey, that's our fucking friend," and the bar says, "Well, you guys have to stay." I'm not sure I believe that. That's really strange to me if that is true, that, you know, the bouncer or the door guys or whoever they were are, you know, telling these kids that they can't leave a bar. Like, you know, typically a bar nine times or 10 times out of 10, it's the getting in, not the getting out, especially a Nashville bar. The places are fucking just jam packed 24/7. And I would imagine, you know, it's Luke Bryan's bar, okay? He's a huge fucking star in country music. To try to get into that place, I feel like they would have a harder time getting in than they would getting out. So to say that, you know, they weren't allowed to get out, I'm not sure if I believe that or not. But that's what has been reported. So I'm going to open this up here. We're going to pull up the Independent. This was 3 hours ago. Homeless residents in Nashville report sightings of missing student Riley Strain. Okay, we're going to pull this up. Missing student Riley Strain was reportedly seen wandering in downtown Nashville by two separate groups of homeless people on the night that he disappeared. Mr. Strain, who attends the University of Missouri, has been missing since March 8th after he was kicked out of 32 Bridge Bar, an establishment owned by the country singer Luke Bryan, at 9:30 p.m. Damn. He was that fucked up by 9:30? Bro, I've been there. I'm not... Respect to this kid. He was obviously hitting it hard because, I mean, like I said, I seen the surveillance footage. He was fucked up. You could tell. In one of the videos, he just like eats shit horribly, and you could see he hit his head. Could have very easily been concussed. On top of being drunk. I mean, it just went from bad to worse to worse. So anyway, the 22-year-old had allegedly been overserved alcohol, according to his stepfather, Chris Whited. The Tennessee Alcohol Beverage Commission is investigating those claims. After being kicked out, the student then wandered the streets, according to surveillance footage in the area. His friends subsequently spent 9 hours looking for him before filing a missing person report with the police. Mr. Strain from Springfield, Missouri, was in Nashville with his fraternity, Delta Chi, for the first spring formal trip. On Wednesday, friend Chris Dingman said he had learned from Mr. Strain's relatives that the missing student was seen by two groups of homeless people on the night he vanished. These are areas that the camera had stops. These are areas that the camera had stops. We don't have any footage. Basically, the areas where his phone quit pinging. We now do have visual confirmation from two homeless camps that Riley was in that area, Mr. Dingman told local TV station WSMV4. All right, I have a similar story to this, all right? Homeless people are basically a wild pack of animals, okay? And I know you wouldn't think that, you know, Nashville would be a place where there would be homeless people, but in America's current climate, dude, it's bad out there. All right. Especially at night, dude. You walk into a homeless encampment hammered in the middle of the night and it's dark, bro. It's like that part in The Hangover 2 when they say, "Oh, Bangkok has him now." Like that, it's true. Like you go into a homeless encampment, hammered, drunk, off your ass, you know, bro, you're probably not gonna come out. Okay, they're gonna rob you. They're going to take all of your shit and probably kill you. Dude, it's homeless people. They're fucking desperate. You know, they're all wigged out, fucked up. You know, they don't even know who they are. They're just as fucked up as you are. You know, but they're way more dangerous. You know, because that's how they spend their life. Is out there, you know, in the fucking wild. And all you people out there who are cool with people crossing our border and are cool with, inviting homeless people into your communities. All you stupid bastards that think that shit is okay, that, that we as a country should sympathize with these people and encourage homeless people, encourage this bullshit, encourage people to be homeless, and we should, have all these initiatives and let them defecate all over the street and fucking do whatever the fuck they want and literally ruin our communities. Like, Nashville's a beautiful place, like an amazing city. It's one of the nicest cities in the United States. But there's homeless people in every city, and they all do the same shit. They rob, do fucking dope all day. They shit everywhere. They don't clean up after fucking nothing. They literally ruin the city. They don't give a fuck about nothing. They contribute nothing and take anything that they can possibly get. And I guarantee you, this poor kid, as fucked up as he was, walked into a homeless encampment, got robbed immediately, beaten to fucking death, and then thrown in a fucking river. And that sounds awful to say, but that's probably what happened. Bro, I was in downtown St. Louis, okay, which is a way more dangerous city than fucking Nashville could ever be. All right. And I walk out of a bar, I'm hammered. Luckily, my people were with me, or else I probably would have ended up in the Mississippi because I wasn't far from it. You're downtown at the Landing in downtown St. Louis, the Mississippi running right through that bitch. I walk out and I was like, this is years and years ago. I have a cigarette and dude, I just get swarmed by homeless people. Like, I mean, they're all over me. Like, hey man, let me get a cigarette. Hey man, can I get $1? So me, I'm a young dumbass fucking hammered. I'm like, yeah, sure, dude. I hand him $1. I'm handing out cigarettes. And they are, dude, it's like, whoo, just on me, like stink on shit, dude. I mean, I'm like surrounded at this point. They're like grabbing me and shit. Luckily, one of my friends comes and grabs me like, hey, what the fuck are you doing? And he shoos them all away, like, get the fuck out of here. I'm like, hey, it's fine. I'm like, it's fine, I'm like, wait, those are my friends because I'm fucked up. And they're like, no, dude, don't do that. Like, that is dangerous. What you just did right there could have cost you your life. And in, this poor Riley Strain, unfortunately, it probably did cost him his life. So, and that's why I'm saying, like, you guys out there, trying to put a blame on somebody. If the bar did overserve him, that's one thing, okay? But I feel like there's more to develop, in this story. It just goes to show you, like, how fucking dangerous these cities are for people, okay? And how important it is that we, as a country, clean up our cities and make them safe for people. And, hey, maybe we shouldn't let millions of people that we have no clue where they're from, what they're going to do once they get here, just pour into our country, infest our inner cities, and let whatever happens happen. How many people have died just in the past month, from being murdered by these illegal immigrants? And, nobody's really batting an eye. The media doesn't have a whole lot to say about it. And I guarantee you, if they find out that an illegal immigrant was behind this kid's death, they're going to fucking shoo it under the rug and pretend like it's no big deal. And they're going to continue to encourage people to take these illegal immigrants into their homes. Like, how fucking insane are these people, dude? These politicians and these media folks that are on the side and are for these people just pouring into our country, like, those are enemies of the state, okay? That's not something that a country that's in a healthy place does, okay? You don't allow millions of military-aged men to just pour into your country and not really do your due diligence on what they're doing here, where they came from, what they plan to do once they're here. We're just letting them in and letting them, just go. Like, hey, whatever. you know. And nobody seems to really see the problem in this. And if you do have a problem with it, you're labeled a fucking racist or just an asshole. It's like, no, motherfucker, like this is all new shit. 10 years ago, if you would have said, "Hey, fucking no, stop letting people pour over the border," you weren't a dick. You weren't a racist. You weren't a piece of shit. You were a normal human being. Like that was the Democrats' stance. Like, dude, I'm pretty sure when Obama was running for president, he was like, "Yeah, we're gonna fucking, put these illegals, in jail. We're gonna, send them back. We're gonna tighten up the border." Like that was a big thing that he ran on. And now it's like the exact opposite. And that's enemy of the state type shit, dude. Any politician that is okay with an open border and not vetting these people and then is encouraging, you and me to invite these people into our communities, into our homes when they're literally murdering people, like what in the fuck, dude? Like, hey, no. Something needs to be done. People need to wake the fuck up. How many more of these poor kids got to die? How many people have to die before the liberals and the morons finally admit that, hey, this isn't a good idea? I'm not going to bet on it, because guess what? I don't think the media and the politicians and these liberal idiots that push this type of agenda, I don't think they're ever going to admit that they were wrong. Okay, I think they're going to fight this thing. I think that they are 100% aligned with this agenda, and that's exactly what it is. This is an agenda. It's part of something even bigger than the border. It's about control and destabilization of this country, and they're going to fight this thing until they get their way. They're never going to admit, hey, this is a bad idea. Even though they know that it's wrong, they're part of the problem. This is an agenda that is being carried out right before our very eyes by the people who run this country, and it's insane. Something has to be done. I know I'm not going to sit idly by, but I mean, fuck. What can you do? This, hopefully there'll be a miracle. They'll find this kid, but it's not looking good, man. When you go missing at, 10 o'clock at night, fucking hammered, you go stumbling off into the night, and nobody sees you again, and they find your phone by the river in a homeless camp. It's not okay. That's not good. Your chances of coming back are low. And it's sad. It's really sad. My heart goes out to his family. The poor kid, 22 years old, he hadn't even, obviously he wasn't an experienced drinker. Okay. And that's another thing I want to talk to y'all about, is being an experienced drinker. All right. If you're a young guy out there, a young girl out there, bro, it's dangerous. This is going out in these big cities and partying. Yeah, it's fun. You can have a great time. But dude, you gotta really be careful now. Bro, there's millions of people in this world who want to kill American people. They want to kill the women, they want to kill the children, they want to kill the men. I know that sounds morbid, but that's the fucking truth. They're in every city. They're in every community. And you got to watch out for yourself. You're going out with a group of your friends in a major city. You got to have a fucking plan. It's not like it used to be, and it's sad. You can't just go out to a bar with your friends, everybody show up, everybody go home, wake up the next day with a sore head. No, like you got to have a fucking safety plan. People got to know, who all's with you, where you're going to be. You got to be, staying in touch with people that aren't in the group, staying in touch with everybody in the group. Like, do not let your friends wander off. Watch everybody's drinks. Make sure people aren't putting shit in your fucking drink. Yeah, I mean, it's like a night out is like a fucking an excursion now. Like, you have to fucking have a plan. Like, it's a detailed thing, because if you're not well equipped, guess what? You're going to end up in a fucking river, you know? It's dangerous out there. These inner cities are fucking dangerous, dude. They're filled with disgusting, awful fucking shitbag people that our federal government thinks is okay for them to be here and is not going to do anything to get rid of them. So yeah, if you're going out in a major city, even in a not major city, like, dude, it's still dangerous, you know? Yeah, this is insane. You fucking get thrown out of a bar and you end up dead. Like, the only reason you should ever end up dead from leaving a bar fucking hammered is if you get in your car drunk and you fucking hit a tree. You know, or you walk out in traffic and get hit by a bus. Not, oh, fucking our buddy, he walked around the corner and we fucking never seen him again. You know? Like, that's some scary shit, bro. Because, like, I don't really drink like I used to. I used to be a fucking party animal, dude. And there's been so many times where I've wandered off like this. There's just some people out there that when they drink, they wander off. It's a common side effect of excessive alcohol use, wandering off. And a lot of bad things can happen. As we see right here. I mean, there's shit, dude. Like, it's happened to me several times. Like, I don't know how many times I've been thrown out of bars in St. Louis. And, you know, you just start walking the street, dude. And who fucking knows who you're going to run into. You know, when you're drunk, fucking mouthy, and you might say the wrong thing to the wrong motherfucker, and they crack you upside the head and throw you in the fucking river, you know? Luckily, that never happened to me, but, you know, it's just insane. We need to keep our inner city safe. It's just an unfortunate situation. Excuse me. Unfortunate situation for this poor kid. You know, he obviously, you know, just trying to have a good time out in Nashville. I've never been to Nashville personally. I have no desire to go to Nashville. For me, I heard that's like where the fucking bachelorette parties go, and it's just fucking loaded with bachelorette parties, and the bars kind of suck because they're so fucking packed and you can't hear nothing. And that's just not my idea of a good time, is to go be around a bunch of chicks on a bachelorette party. I went on a cruise with my cousin for his bachelor party. I'm like, what the fuck are we doing on a goddamn cruise? And guess what it was? A bunch of chicks on a bachelor party. I'm like, and we're the fucking dudes. They all thought we were gay. It's like, you guys gay? Like, this is what fucking women do. It's like, yeah, I know. But that's why I don't ever go to Nashville. I like country music. I think Nashville is all right, but fuck. Anyway, that's about all I can really say to that. Just an unfortunate situation. If anybody has any information or you've seen this kid, you know, leave a comment. Don't comment to me. Fucking reach out to the damn police. On Wednesday of this week, that would have been just 2 days ago. So March 13th, on Wednesday, Elon Musk and Don Lemon. Don Lemon is a former CNN anchor. Not one of my favorite people. Anybody that's got anything to do with CNN is not real high on my likability chart. But these guys ended up in the news. Don Lemon did an interview with Elon Musk that was supposed to be part of like a partnership with X, where Don Lemon was going to have a show that kind of, you know, was featured on X. And they apparently had a contract and an agreement. And the pilot episode was with Elon Musk, where Don Lemon essentially took it upon himself to just do what most liberal journalists and anchors do when they get the spotlight, and that is just project Trump derangement syndrome all over their guest. And that's essentially what happened. All the clips that I've seen, you know, Don Lemon, like, and I hate Don Lemon. I've seen his content before, and it's like, dude, he's just not good, dude. He's got he's got Trump derangement syndrome. and also like just liberal derangement syndrome. Like just he's like a reverse racist. Okay, like the dude was actually fired like not even that long ago from CNN for making like sexist comments and like just ridiculing employees and shit. So yeah, he's not a good guy. Why Elon Musk decided to even give this guy a platform, not really sure. But I'll go ahead and read the article. Former CNN anchor Don Lemon announced Wednesday that Elon Musk has canceled a partnership with Lemon, who would host a new show on X, the social media platform that Musk owns. Lemon said he was informed of the decision to cancel the deal just hours after he taped an interview with Musk for the premiere of the Don Lemon Show on March 18th. We had a good conversation. Clearly, he felt differently, Lemon said of the interview in a statement Wednesday. His commitment to a global town square where all questions can be asked and all ideas can be shared seems not to include questions of him from people like me. There were no restrictions on the interview that he willingly agreed to, and my questions were respectful and wide-ranging. Okay, they were respectful, I guess, but not really wide-ranging. He was just, basically asking him if he was going to give Trump money, if Trump was giving him money, if he was going to vote for Trump, and basically just Trump this, Trump that. He was kind of like what I watched, Don Lemon was kind of like that annoying friend that whenever they find out you hung out with your girlfriend over the weekend, like one of your annoying high school friends, when they find out that you were with a chick over the weekend, they start asking you a bunch of unnecessary questions about, what you and her were up to, like, hey, did you fuck her? Oh, did you? What'd you guys do? And it's like, dude, shut the fuck up. Like that's none of your business. Like, go away. That's exactly how Lemon was in this interview. Like he was just salivating over the fact that Elon Musk and Donald Trump were in the same area together talking about the future of the world because those two men are influencers and they influence the way the world works. Okay, they influence outcomes. They change the world. They demonstrate it time and time again, unlike a guy like Don Lemon who doesn't change anything. He's just a fucking dork, okay, with liberal derangement syndrome, okay? And he's over there just salivating like, what'd you guys talk about? Are you gonna vote for him? Are you gonna give him money? Why? Like, dude, you're talking to fucking Elon Musk. Like, literally. You're talking to Elon Musk. You have the richest man in the world, the most richest, most powerful, most influential person there fucking is, okay? And your boss, okay? He just gave you a deal for his fucking platform. He's like, hey, we're going to give you the opportunity to, to grow your content and, continue doing whatever you hope to do. We're going to help you grow. Even though you were fired from CNN, we don't care. We're going to, let you do your thing here on X. And you took it upon yourself, of all the things that you could have been asking Elon Musk at that given time, you only wanted to ask him about Donald Trump. Okay, who Elon Musk clearly is not a super fan of Donald Trump. He's just not one of those people that gets fired up over politicians. Okay, Elon Musk is a fucking dork, dude. He likes space and computers and electric cars and shit. Okay, ask him some fucking nerdy stuff. Ask him something. But no, you only want to ask him about Donald fucking Trump, a dude that he clearly doesn't really even like all that much. But he likes Joe Biden even less. And that's what he was trying to explain to Don Lemon. Like, hey, I don't really care for Trump, but I like y'all's guy even less. So can we leave it at that and carry on with the interview? Jesus, wow. This is your first episode, the pilot episode. You're talking to your fucking boss and you shit the bed. I'm glad that they canceled the show because it was probably going to suck because Don Lemon sucks. Like, anybody who was watching his show, like, no wonder CNN had the worst fucking ratings. They had guys like him on there amongst everyone else that they had. Like, there's just, the world is moving towards a new direction. And I really think that this, like, far left, agenda that has been super popular past few years, I think people are finally getting tired of it. I just can't imagine if Elon Musk was right in front of me and I had the opportunity to talk to him and interview him. I'm going to imagine having that golden opportunity in front of you, and you decide to just ruin it by, like, berating him for being around Trump. Like, dude, he's Elon. He's the richest man in the world. Like, of course, major politicians are going to reach out to him. He's got to go and meet with those people. It's very typical. That's nothing new, okay? And really, it's none of your fucking business. Ask one question. When he shuts it down, move on. How fucking hard is that? Like, hey, I'm Elon Musk. Of all the things that you could talk to me about, of all the fucking things that we could sit and talk about, like, I have a space company, I have an underground fucking tunneling company, I own Tesla, I put fucking chips in people's heads to try to change their brain, and I'm trying to build superhumans and AI and all this shit. Like, a whole bunch of things that they could have talked about, and he wants to talk about Donald Trump. I would take that as a fucking insult. Like, hey, motherfucker, I'm Elon Musk. Fuck Donald Trump. Talk to me. So yeah, I'm glad they canceled that. And Elon Musk was even nice enough to say, hey, you can still do your show on X, but I don't want, I'm not going to give you like an exclusive deal. All right, ladies and gentlemen, like I was saying, with the NAR settlement deal, I almost forgot, since I'm a licensed agent broker in the state of Missouri, I actually got an email this morning directly from the NAR, and even though I'm not a fan of NAR, I don't agree with the money that I have to pay them, and I think that they're overall just kind of a monopoly, and I think it would be better if they were broken up, and who knows, whether or not this lawsuit would have been as huge if NAR was there, whether it was not there, but they did kind of do us. Here's the one thing that I can say that is good about this situation, as far as the lawsuit. There's a part in here from NAR, and it says, this proposed settlement achieves both of those goals. So let me go back. From the beginning of this litigation, NAR had two goals: secure a release of liability for as many of our members, associates, and MLSs as we could, and preserve the choices consumers have regarding real estate services and compensation. Okay, the first one is what I'm going to, kind of speak on. The second one, I don't really care. So this proposed settlement achieves both of those goals. Here are the key terms, and this is what... I'm not going to read all of these because they're not really all that important to the video, and it's a relatively long email, and I don't want to waste your time. But this is what, this is kind of the key piece of information. This is what affects, I think, in my opinion, me the most, and this is kind of, NAR doing me a solid. The agreement would release NAR, over 1 million NAR members, all state, territorial, and local realtor associations, all association-owned MLSs, and all brokerages with an NAR membership as principal that had a residential transaction volume in 2022 of $22 billion or below. So basically, if you were a brokerage that had less than $2 billion in sales volume for 2022, you are not on the hook for any of the financial compensation. So meaning that, these people that are suing NAR, they can't come after like me individually and get money out of me, which that's pretty awesome. And that was actually something I was, kind of afraid of when this lawsuit had first come out. I was like, what if all the people that I sold houses to during, however, during COVID, essentially, what if they all come back and make me give my money back or even more? That would suck. I ain't got that kind of money to give back. All right. I do all right, but so yeah, that's probably the most important part of this, from my perspective, as far as, a solid, a positive takeaway, because in all honesty, this whole thing sucks. It's going to really shake up our industry. It's going to change the way a lot of people do business. It's probably going to put a lot of people, individual people out of business. I wouldn't say that it's going to, put out, any big brokerages or brokerages are going to start dropping like flies immediately. I think that's something that's just going to steadily happen over time. As the market just gets tougher and tougher, we kind of have to see how this is all going to roll out, see how well people adapt to it. Buyer agents can still make money, obviously. It's just, I think what's going to hurt buyer agents the most is just that now it's in the minds of everybody. Anybody who's selling a house and has paid any sort of attention to this, this verdict. I mean, this is all over national news. Anytime somebody sells a house, they're gonna know in their mind that they're not gonna pay that buyer commission. It's gonna be very rare for a seller to just go, yeah, sure, I'll pay it. It can obviously be negotiated, and that's how it's always was. And it's really, it's changing, but like I said earlier, it's not really changing because there was never a law that said that sellers had to pay the buyer agent. It just kind of over time became an industry standard because it happens so often. At least in my perspective, that's how I see it. But yeah, I just wanted to read that email. And the release of liability. So basically all the smaller brokerages, because there were some, the huge brokerages, paid the price in this deal. And that's, kind of sucks. But small guys like me, like I'm a one-man show. I had an agent that worked for me. But like I said, I do mostly just investing now, and that's got nothing to do with any of this for the most part. But, that would really suck if, they sued us for, even if it was this $400 million or like the $2 billion or whatever the total numbers were, if the people who filed this lawsuit all just started coming after individual brokers, or they come out and said, hey, if you sold your house, in 2022, you may be entitled to financial compensation. And then all they had to do was say, well, I bought a house from Joe Davis, and their attorney goes, all right, well, we're going to take him to court. And then all them houses that I sold, which was like 25, 30, now I'm giving all my money back on all that shit. That would suck because I've done spent that money. But anyway, so yeah, that's a positive. That's the one silver lining in this whole thing for me. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for sticking with me today. I'm going to go enjoy the rest of my weekend. I hope you all do the same. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, share the podcast. And if you like what you see, definitely stick with us. Subscribe to the channel, help us grow, help us get more people on. I like doing this. I like giving information to people. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video.